Back to Newswire. Always great to catch up with Michael DeCourcy, who's just so well versed on a number of different topics. We can throw anything at Michael, and he can throw it right back at me. We'll see if that happens today. We'll play a game of Let's Talk About This. We'll start off, Mike. Thanks for coming on. Let's start off with some soccer here. I know Copa America, everywhere I go here in South Florida, no matter where I go, it's on TV somewhere. I've been noticing this. And so certainly I know the world is watching, Mike. How about you?
Oh, without a doubt. There have been some great games and some interesting games. Brazil, with some of their struggles, shocking the hemisphere, I guess you'd say, with their inability to score. And then, of course, Argentina struggling, but finding a way with Lautaro Martinez being such a terrific player. And, of course, the United States and their 2-0 victory to open. And this evening, they will play their second game in their group against Panama. Panama's been a tough opponent for them, a team that always gives them in circumstances that are somewhat neutral. And I think you can count the Copa America as that. They always give them a difficult game. The U.S. lost down in Panama in the most recent World Cup qualifying, lost to them in penalties in the most recent Gold Cup. So it's a challenging opponent for the Americans tonight.
It will be, and we'll keep an eye on that and talk about it here on the show tomorrow. But let's start off with this Georgia-Portugal matchup. Naturally, as you take a look at this, a really exciting game right down to the finish. What does it mean for the future?
Well, I think it's hard. I think it's hard to judge what it means for Portugal because it was a rotated squad. They had already clinched the victory in the group. So they did not play a lot of their better players. They were resting them. There wasn't a whole lot for them to gain. But by virtue of the way other groups broke, they wound up in an absolutely loaded bracket. Same half of the draw now with 16 teams left. The same group of 8 that includes France, Germany, it's Spain, a really difficult series of games. Again, not really much fault to Portugal in that. It's just the way it broke for a lot of other teams. So it's going to be a real challenge for Portugal to get out of that half of the draw and into the final in Germany.
Let's look at the Euro futures odds. Tell me where you think we stand here with England being plus 300. Also Spain plus 320, Germany plus 480, France plus 550, and Portugal has slipped to plus 600. Netherlands at 12-1, Mike. Is there any value here in jumping back on the Portugal train?
Well, I think because they're in a difficult draw, I'm not sure that I would. I think the value might be in Netherlands, the plus 12. Again, they are in the half of the draw that's all but cleared out because of the way other groups fell, and their own finishing third. It really worked out great for them. So if you're looking for value, I think that's where you look. England is a terrifically talented team, but has not been a terrific team in this tournament. Now, we've seen in these tournaments, you can look at the U.S. women in World Cup 2015, where they did not play great in group. They didn't even play great in their first knockout round game, and then rampage to the finish with a great game against Japan. That could happen certainly for some of the teams that have not played well in group. With a team like England with so much talent, they really should find a way. But it hasn't looked like it in any of their 3 games.
I want to focus now and move ahead to this big story that broke yesterday with the Olympics coming up, because I think this probably surprised some people. And Mike, you're obviously more familiar with this than people that follow soccer very closely. But when you associate women's soccer, you think of Alex Morgan almost first. And the announcement was made yesterday that for the first time since 2008, she is not going to participate on the U.S. women's team. Now, for me, I did some research here, and again, not being as completely familiar with this, I really didn't feel like I came up with a good answer for why that she's not on this. Some injury speculation, some age speculation as well. Nothing that I read led me to believe that there's a clear answer here.
Well, I honestly, Craig, I think the first answer, I almost wish that this were a World Cup because we would know what exactly does Emma Hayes have in mind. She was constricted. She's the new coach for the U.S. women's national team, came to the United States earlier in her career, and now is coming back as the champion of England's Women's Super League with Chelsea. considered to be one of the great tactical coaches in soccer. And in this case, she only has 18 players available to her. That's a really limited roster. And so, first off, there's just the numerical factor. And then there's the factor that Alex is a center forward. She doesn't do anything else. Most of the forwards that were chosen for this team are very versatile. Kind of lacks a center forward unless they play Catarina Macario there, which they may. But the fact that they decided to use a lot of versatile players to cover for the fact that they're only allowed 18 really put Alex in a tough spot. I would be very curious if this were a 23-player roster, how would it have gone? Would she have made it? I really wish I could get an answer to that, but obviously it's all suppositional.